Hello, Tech Talk Worldwide. As you know me, I'm your host, Amy Masters, but today's special guest is Jessica Briarmoon.
Hello.
Super excited to share with you everything that she's been on to. What I like is that Jessica is a tech like the rest of us and just working her way through the passion and making her ways up these ranks of being a powerhouse mentor for us. So welcome, Jessica. Thanks for joining in today.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
And so the famous question that we always ask is going back, way back into your history and finding out what inspired you to want to become in the beauty industry.
I actually was not inspired originally to just jump into it. I, like many nail techs, was a nail biter, closet nail biter. And in college, I was pre-vet, so I was going to be a surgeon. I really like the whole medical world, but decided someday I wanted a family, and it's really hard to do both of those things. And so I had been doing my own nails, and I had people say, "Oh, where do you get your nails done?" And because all through high school I'd gotten my nails done, and I missed having them done. And of course, there wasn't anyone near me when I was in college to do them. So I had a roommate who did her own, and I said, "Well, if you can do yours, I can do mine." So she said, "Go to Sally's and get the stuff." And I went and got the stuff, and I did my own for probably 2 years before I decided that, well, I'm not going to be a surgeon anymore, so I'll just go to school and do nails, and then I'll go get a real job.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at least I'd have a job to get a job. So yeah, that's kind of how it fell into it. And then once I got into it, I learned about all the other things that you can do with the industry, more than just, you can go to the salon every day, but I love the idea of traveling and the shows. And I had a friend who pulled me in a competition like right out the door. And so that was crazy, but exciting because, I had been reading all the magazines and everything, and I got to meet some of the people that were in them, and that was a little starstruck, which was pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it kind of fell into it. And yeah, now it's been a few years.
Isn't it so funny that there's the majority of us never feel that this is a real job? That it's like our hobby and it's playful, but someday I'll have a real job. And I've talked about it that it was only like about 5 years ago that I was like, okay, I've been doing this for, well, January will be 27 years that I've been doing this. And I'm just now thinking that this is a real job. I guess that's the fun of following your passion.
It is. And I felt like to show my daughter that I didn't just drop out of school to just do nails, and that you can, do it all. I did go back and I did online school, and I got a marketing degree while I was still doing nails and being a single mom. And so I was pretty excited to do that. And it's a degree that I can use in this industry. It makes it so that I can help people when they're trying to figure out how to market themselves in the salon and things like that. So I did still go and finish my degree, but
yes, that's so true.
Yeah.
So I'm going to brag on you a little bit. In this month, I just this last week, this month's Nail Pro magazine. You are in here, head of the class.
Oh my goodness.
That's awesome. So I know. So of course I have to put my glasses on to read. So when you decided that you were going to become head of the class and go to the next level into education, this is that you were named Educator of the Year 2018 Akzentz Summit. Oh my gosh. Congratulations on that. That is fabulous. So
thank you.
Yeah. So tell us, how did you get into where you started being an educator?
So a few months out of school, I started, trying to go to as many classes as I could. And there's not, as most nail techs know, there's not that many classes out there, and you really have to seek them out. And I started going to some classes and met a couple of the distributors that were local. There's only two. There was an On Vogue distributor and an Akzentz distributor. And at first I worked with On Vogue, and they brought me in to educate for them and to help go with them, because the distributor was a business person. She didn't really do nails. And so she was looking for an educator. So I was like, sure, I'll help out how you need me to. And so at first I would just go and do the classes that she wanted, or I would work in her little shop a couple of days a week, and I would go to the schools and help her out and that kind of a thing. And then eventually I wanted to try something different, and went on a quest to find a different product. And it took about 2 years and before I found Akzentz. And the product that I use, and I talk about it a lot, the product that I use is the old school UV line, but it like angels sang to me when I used it, because it worked exactly how I wanted it to work. So, you know, everyone works different. And this particular gel did exactly what I wanted it to do. And I was super happy. So I started working with the distributor that was here local in Washington. And she was really just super sweet. And so she didn't do a lot of nails. So I started educating for her. And then eventually she got ill and I took over distributing for her as well. And that was Kelly. And that was quite a long time ago as well. So I've been kind of running this whole kind of the distributorship and Educator. And it's kind of just always been both of them since I almost got into with Akzentz. And she was the only distributor in the US at the time. The first Akzentz I bought was actually from Canada, where it's made. So I started working as an educator with Akzentz then, and did a lot of traveling, before child, BC. That's what my mom always says.
I love it. I've never heard that, and I absolutely
yes. Yeah, everything is BC. Like, oh yeah, we used to do this, you know, BC. So so I did a lot of traveling then, and now, you know, I think it was a lot of becoming an educator of the year was a lot because I kind of decided to find a different way to educate, and I wanted to reach more people. And it's hard to do that when some people live in the middle of nowhere and they're 2 hours from an airport and they, you know, can't get to a class. And, you know, I don't have the time to do, I don't have the time to do major editing of videos, even though I love how beautiful the videos are that people make when they edit them. I started developing online videos that are just live in the salon. I set something up and I started doing it because people wanted to see just how I did stuff in the salon, and it took off. And I'm always still amazed when I get messages of thank you for making this video. I've been struggling with this particular thing. And so I haven't been doing as many outside classes as I have been trying to just focus on making sure I can, you know, mentor people one-on-one if needed, or do these videos and help them through whatever they need help with.
And to be able to do it online, it's accessible to everybody. You know, anybody that has the internet, it's easy to be accessible for that. And I love that we have this opportunity. So on top of that, in addition to all of your milestones, you also put together this nail retreat. And so I'll let you talk more about that. And I feel honored and privileged to be able to come on in May. I'll be in Georgia with you and be a keynote speaker and as well as an educator. And so super excited, like beyond
I'm very excited. I think you're going to love it. Yeah, so around 2010, I guess we started in 2009, a friend of mine and we discussed how it was hard for people to get to classes. It's the same, you know, problem we hear about all the time. It's really hard to get to classes. It's expensive to travel. And I remember sitting at a show and being with, you know, a whole bunch of nail techs, and one girl just ordered water. And I'm like, aren't you going to have dinner? And she's like, I ran out of money. I've spent it all. And I can't order dinner. And I was just like, oh my gosh, there's got to be a better way. And it, you know, and people that couldn't go because they didn't know anybody and it was too expensive to get a hotel room by themselves and things like that. So we started looking for camps. I went to church camp every year growing up, and I loved church camp. So I said, let's start looking at these kind of facilities, because most retreat centers are just way out of the price range. The places that corporate places go, they're really, really expensive. Granted, the place in Atlanta is one of those, so we got really lucky finding a place that we could afford. It's really nice. So yeah, it's really nice. So we found a church camp that is outside of Seattle. It was a beautiful location and it was affordable, and that was the big thing. And it had space, and that it was all inclusive, so people can have their lodging paid for, their meals are all cooked for them, and they can go to classes, and they don't have to worry about where they're going. They don't have to worry about not having money for dinner. And it became, you know, it became more than what we thought it would be, because it also becomes this great camaraderie of friends that get together every year. And we took a break after a couple of years, and I know Carrie's watching. We took a break after a couple of years, and Carrie flies out from Kansas every year up to Seattle. She's never missed one to come to nail camp. And she was one of the ones that got very angry when we took a year off, because They
We're
were
paying
not
attention
pleased.
every year. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we were not. People were mad, and they were like, "You're not allowed to take a year off again." So we have not. Other than, I mean, some people consider we did the nail camp cruise this year, so some people consider that taking a year off because they couldn't go on the cruise, but we have not technically taken a year off since then because.
And now you've even added the Northwest. So in Idaho in October. So now you're going to have like 3 big events that you've
Well,
put
I
on.
don't run Vashon anymore. So last year, I separated with the person I was organizing it with previously, and I decided to continue with the way that I've been scheduling everything for nail camp, and so I'm still running the same itinerary. It took years to develop just the right itinerary because we've got 4 days. It's 4 days all inclusive from Friday to Monday. And on Friday, the first class we do is a class that we developed with Vicki Peters, and we spend a lot of time figuring out exactly how to do this class. And it's a really unique workshop. It's 5 hours, and it's different than what you'll find. It's non-product specific, and it goes through. You're only doing 4 nails. But then you have a friend that you get to meet, and they're doing 4 nails on you. But the process of how you see your nails progress in those 4 nails, for a lot of people that have come, they've come up to me after that class and said that was worth the whole weekend. So it's an important and really cool class that we put together. So we do it every year, and it's called Incredible Improvements. And it's one of those things that when Vicki passed, I said, this is not going to go away because this was her signature class that she was super proud of when we got it all put together, and we check it every year. Do we want to change it? No, So it's a great class. And then keynote speakers like yourself, I'm super excited about. Yeah. Most of the time over the whole weekend, people can choose what they're going to see. So there's other great educational events like High Road, for example, where you go and you're in a room and someone's doing a demo and everybody's watching the same demo. This is a little bit different. Throughout the entire weekend, you get basically what you would get at college, a course catalog. And it has all of these classes. And for example, the 1-hour classes, you get to choose 6 of them over the course of the weekend, but there might be 40 options. So you have to choose what classes you want to do, which is a little bit tricky for some because they don't get the book until they get there. So they get they get to that night, everyone sits in there with their friends and goes, oh, what about this one? What about this one? So they figure out what classes they're going to go to that weekend. The workshops, a lot of the time they plan ahead because there's 2 other workshops, and you can only do 1 3-hour class and 1 5 to 8-hour class. And so those ones you'll plan ahead and register for. The reason being, we try to keep the limit of those to around 15 people because too many and it gets too crowded, and we want everyone to be able to learn. So when registration opens for those classes, we post the registration links, and then you can register directly with those educators. So lots of learning opportunities, but the keynote speakers, that's where you get undivided attention to you, my dear. And Holly is there as well. So there's both of you coming to Atlanta and doing 2 evenings after dinner where we'll get a good hour of listening to you and the stuff you have to say, which I'm super excited to hear.
Yeah. And, I talked with you the other day because keeping profits in your pockets. And I was like, wait a minute. I went back through our texting and I'd actually said that the theme was this year was like back to the future. And my speaking is going to be like, don't let yourself hold yourself back from your future. Mm-hmm. And so, And so having Holly talk about, you charging what you're worth and her powerhouse of that. And then, not holding yourself back. I think it's going to be extra inspirational. Yeah. On top of education.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's really funny. And those are really interesting and important parts is those keynote seminars, because I know when it comes to going to classes, everybody wants to learn the new tricks and the new nail art and the new troubleshooting. But I think that when it, with business and, working towards bettering yourself in the salon, those are important as well. And so I love having the keynote speakers come up and be able to share some information. And it's really, I know in the past, Holly's done the Profits seminar. Mm-hmm. And we have a couple of techs who have gone back and immediately raised their prices and just couldn't believe that their clients didn't freak out as much as they thought they would. And they're suddenly in a place where they feel like they should be. So it really can be very changing and very inspiring. And it might make someone who was on the brink of getting out of doing nails into figuring out their passion again. and getting to where they can love it and get back into it. So we like that.
You know, I hear that a lot too, and it's sad that until it came to social media, they didn't even know where to look. They could get in the magazines, but they didn't have the interaction. So they could read something, but were they really strong enough to go in and make the changes? So being accountable to somebody, even though it's online, of like, okay, I want to do this. Okay, well, when are you going to do it? Be accountable to me. And I have people be accountable to me. And I'll go in and I'll check their Facebook page and I'll check their menus, and they have to check in with me, and they're like, I did it, I did it, I did it. And I think having, I don't know, that tribe of people around you makes you believe that you can. And then you have a support group. And so what you've created, even with the nail camp and stuff like that, these ladies can't wait to go see each other every year. And the stories that I keep hearing over and over, like, it makes me excited to be able to go and be a part of it.
Well, and they become friends outside of nail camp. We have a couple that have gone, you know, every year, and now they travel together. You'll see their Facebook pictures, and they're out on a trip somewhere else or a cruise somewhere else, and they're all having a great time. So it's really it's fun to see the friendships that get built, and I'm excited to see all the new people that are coming to Atlanta. I know we have some that have flown over to Seattle in the past, but I've been getting requests for many years. Please come to the East Coast. Come make camp here. So this is your chance. So come to Nail Camp Atlanta.
So, and actually in the comments, Sue had asked where it is this year. And I mean, I think Beth already answered her. So they're having conversations within themselves in the group.
Perfect.
So thank
well, Beth has been many times. She's awesome.
So obviously you guys know that we'll put all the links to all of the upcoming things and the websites and the Instagrams and all of that Jessica has, even her YouTube channel. And, you know, you're setting a path for a lot of nail techs to know that even though the priorities are children and family and all of that, but you're still making the time to follow your passion and not just feeling closed-minded. And how do I want to say that? You're being an innovator in our industry, and you're setting the path for a lot of us to be able to get that same kind of education. And that's to be recommended and commended. So thank you so much for that. So Carrie said, I knew no one except Jess, my first camp, and I made friends from all over. And so that's really cool that she only knew one person to begin with, which it sounds like, I'm assuming Jess is you.
Yeah, I met her, I don't remember how, I think it might have even been on Beauty Tech back then, because Beauty Tech was still around. And she was in the pharmacy business and was afraid to get out of it and afraid to start, you know, the nail industry, because it's a big jump when you have no idea how it's going to work. And, you know, I was one of those, I pushed her, and I still push her, you know. She was in Florida with me last month, taking a class from Madeline Wolf over with Lauren Wireman at Wildflowers. And we were talking about raising prices, and she hadn't in a long time. And even after nail camp with Holly, she hadn't done it. And I said, you got to do it. And so I was bugging her, and even bugging her after the fact. So she will tell you that I will get on her. But she's doing great now. She's got a great little shop, and she's terrific. So love her.
Connections are wonderful. And like I said, you're just helping set the path and the way for so many other people to go, I want to do that. I want to be a part of that. And obviously you're giving us the opportunity to have education in multiple areas. So I believe I heard it's Idaho in October.
It is. Yeah. So the end of October, it's just north of Boise. I finally found a great location there, because for me, you know, picking just anywhere wasn't going to work. So I really spent a lot of time trying to find exactly the right place. And it's a beautiful location, really modern facility. So the buildings are all really nice and in good condition. And they're beautiful with how they're trees, and they have a river right there. So it's really pretty, because, you know, that's part of it. You want to be in a beautiful setting when you go to camp. It's not camping. I will tell you, it is not camping. There's no tents happening. But if you want to be in a beautiful setting, you can do it either in Georgia or in Boise, because they both are really beautiful locations. It's a little bit less expensive than Atlanta, so that's going to be nice for the pocketbook. But we have a lot of nail techs that are in the Northeast, and some of them are going to have to drive a little bit more than they might have to Seattle if they want to come. But, you know, it's going to be really fun. But yeah, it's the end of October, but because it is right before Halloween, we're throwing in a Halloween party, so that's going to be really fun.
Oh, well, there you go. An added bonus.
It is.
So if educators wanted to contact you to be an educator at your retreat, how do you recommend going about that?
Yeah, they're welcome to email me directly from the website. If they want to message me on Facebook, that's fine as well. We limit the amount of educators coming, so it's not like a normal trade show where you're going to have 50 companies. You're going to have about a dozen. And we do that for a couple of reasons. If you have 50 companies, the companies don't get enough out of it because we limit the amount of people that can come as well. And we want the educators to build a relationship with the people coming. So we do have room at Nail Camp West for some more educators. So if there are some that want to come, they're welcome to join us. So send me an email. We like to get some variety for sure. So if you look at the website right now, you can kind of see who is already slated to come. And if you go, you know what, I did something that those educators don't do, definitely let me know, because that's going to get people coming to your classes.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's exciting. And then if you were a participant that wanted to come, how would they go about it? And what did they expect along the days? Like, kind of go through the days. You already mentioned that they get their booklet on day one and get to choose what they want, but kind of go through the form of the week.
Right. So when everyone arrives, it's on Friday morning. And we have registration, and I believe registration will start at 9 a.m. this time. Sometimes we started a little bit later, but we'll be starting registration at 9. So you show up, you check in, you'll get your book, you'll get your badge. One of the fun things I started doing a couple years ago with the badges is that there is a logo for every year that someone has attended nail camp. So for people like Carrie, like I was mentioning before, she has every single logo on there, except she won't have the cruise logo. So sad. But the logo for every camp is on there. So what's nice is that if you have if you see someone and you're totally new and you've never done nail camp and you see someone with a badge and they have a couple of logos, you know that they've been there or that they've experienced nail camp. Obviously, no one's been to Atlanta or the Boise locations before, so they're not going to necessarily be able to help with directions. But if you have questions about how things are done or anything like that, then they'll be able to help you. So that's really fun. But they get their badge and their book, and the book has all of the class information, and it has the itinerary as the first page. It has every single class description from the 1 hour to the 3 hour and the 5 hour classes in there. It also has the bios, which all of this information will also be online, but they get it in paper form at camp. And it has note paper in there. So we make sure that their name tag is on the book because people carry it with them. We call it their Bible. So they'll carry it with them all weekend and take notes in it. And so if they leave it in a class, we know they can get it back because it's got their name on their book. So they get that. And then we'll be doing lunch. And previously we did lunch kind of in a buffet style, but at the new locations that I'm running, we'll have lunch in the dining hall. So we'll head over to the dining hall. I'll be able to introduce myself, introduce the educators, and we'll have some grub that's cooked for us, which is great. And then we head off to the Incredible Improvements workshop. And typically this is split into 2 different classrooms. We have a beginner's classroom and those that are focused on just salon nails, and there'll be an advanced classroom and those who want to challenge themselves to produce, you know, competition quality nails, maybe a little bit longer than what they might do in the salon, real pink and whites, things like that. So we'll be splitting in 2 different classes. The beginner's class will get a bit of a lecture in Atlanta. Lauren Wireman's going to lead that lecture on basic shaping and things like that. She's really excited. She did that last year. She absolutely loved it. So I talked to her about it when I was in Florida. So she's really excited to do that again. So we do that class, and that class will end around dinner time. So everyone can pack up when they're done, take their stuff back to their cabin. After they register, between registration and lunch, that's also time for them to go find their cabin and they can get in there. Everybody gets assigned a cabin. I try to pay attention to age groups, or, you know, people obviously can request certain people when they want to have roommates and things like that. When you do registration, you fill all that information in. So if you're brand new, and we have a lot of, you know, older ladies that maybe this is their second career and they're in their 50s or 60s and they've come to camp, but they know nobody. And they're like, oh, I didn't know what to do. But, you know, when they fill it out, I can put a couple of them together because I actually asked that, which may not be PC, but it really helps with putting roommates together that are really going to get to know each other and find friends. So they can go out and find their cabin before lunch and get settled. And then that night after dinner, everyone gets their swag bag, which is loaded. Swag bag. The swag bag for nail camp was, for the nail camp cruise was insane. I have never had that much swag brought in. And I don't know if it's because they all were like, wow, these techs were really excited to go learn. We did 5 days of teaching and learning at sea before we actually hit any ports or anything. But the swag bag weighed over 15 pounds per person. So it was
justify their luggage for their flight home.
I warned everybody, bring space in your bag, because it took, I luckily got luggage donated to get it up to the cruise port, because I could only fit 3 swag bags per large suitcase. And it was a lot of suitcases. So it was entertaining for everyone else, but probably the guy who had to deal with the suitcase.
Yeah. I got from a cruise, and I did not justify for the extra product that I was going to be taking home. And let's just say there's some things that got to stay in the room that I decided I could part with because I really wanted to take this. So I had to make some decisions. So a lesson learned.
Yeah, it was a lot. It's a lot of product, and we're actually giving one of those bags away. I kept mine, and it's in a drawing, and we're almost to the max where the drawing is going to happen. But for the first 25 people that sign up for Nail Camp East in Atlanta, that swag bag is going to one of them. So there's a couple of spaces left. As soon as I hit 25, then I will do a drawing, and someone's going to get that bag.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome. So what you're saying is there's still availability that they can get in to do that. What? Yes. How many techs do you limit coming?
So I limit 100 and I think it's 130 at both locations this year. I think I had planned on 150 in Atlanta, but I'm going to get to 130 and then see, because I want to make sure we have a good balance. Typically around 25 of those are educators or helpers for educators. So we have about 100 nail techs that come, and the rest will be educators. So if we get more educators or more helpers for educators, the numbers might change. We typically don't deny students at all. So if students sign up later and we've already maxed, we'll make room for them. So that's kind of where the number can change a little bit. So if there's someone who knows of a school out in Georgia or in any of the surrounding states, let them know, because they can contact me and I can talk to them about a student rate and get them in there. We really like to see the students in there and learn, because they'll learn a lot in this where they may not learn a lot in school.
Yes, true. That's why we need this extra education, is because sometimes what we learned in school is not, in the real world. And especially when it comes to running a business and all of that, we can know how to do the nails, but then we don't know how to schedule, or we don't know how long to schedule, and sanitation and all the good stuff there. Right. I'm so excited.
So that's just Friday.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So,
okay.
That's just Friday. So then you get your swag, and then I try not to let people make them stick around too long, because they all want to go back and open those bags. They also get their t-shirts for the weekend, which this year are going to be fun. They're going to be black with the Nail the Future logo. So I'm pretty excited about that. And then let me make sure I don't mix up what days are which. So on Saturday morning, we get up, you do breakfast, and one of the fun things we do at all the meals is raffle prizes. So these swag bags are amazing. Everybody gets one. But then the companies will also send amazing raffle prizes. I'm talking about electric files, the lava tubs, huge kits with lamps. We're talking thousands of dollars of amazing raffle prizes. Some of them are smaller, but just as amazing. I love the wrist assist from Robin. She always sends one of those. So we always have great prizes. So typically at a meal, I can give away 4 or 5 raffle prizes. And the raffles are done differently. We have a bucket, and everybody gets tickets when they register. We tell them put their names on them immediately, because they're not drawn by number, they're drawn by your name. And the first day that we get in there, all of the raffles are going to be set up, and you can put your tickets in the things that you really want to win. So if you are in desperate need of an electric file, you can put all your tickets in there. And then we typically will allow people to buy $20 more worth of tickets. We limit that because one year we didn't, and someone bought a ton and went home with everything. So
figured it all out.
She did amazing. She got a lot of stuff. So now it's a limit of $20 worth of more raffle prizes, and then that money goes to charity. So that's really exciting. But it lets people buy more if they want to get more and be able to put them in more things. But at the meals is when we get the raffle prizes drawn. And at every meal, we'll pick one of the big money items, and it'll be game time. So minute to win it style games and some competitions. So cheer on your new friends. There's lots of balloons and solo cups and things like that happen. They're just fun, get the energy going. It's just something that makes camp, it's the fun stuff. So we'll be doing that at the meals. Anyway, so breakfast will start, and then Saturday morning is when we do competition. And the reason we do it that first morning is because we want to get it out of the way. We know that it makes people nervous. And it's one of those things where you just want to get it out of the way, because I know as a competitor, it's too stressful. Yeah. If I'm going to tag a vacation onto a competition, I want it to be after the competition, because otherwise the entire vacation I'll be stressing about the competition. Yeah. So the competition is done first, and also the class that's on Friday, the Incredible Improvements class, the last part of that class is receiving a score sheet, and that score sheet is identical to what we use the next day. So you can then take your scores and look at what you need to focus on, and maybe try to focus on that a little bit more the next day when you do your competition. So I have teased a few people that there is new competition news, so I'm going to tell you right now. Me and Ellie have been talking. Yeah, you don't even know this. So yeah. Ellie and I have been talking, and we have added a third competition. It is going to happen at the same time as the one-hand competition. So we do one hand of French, where you can do 3 French and 2 red. And this is so that you can work on yourself, so that you don't have to have another nail tech bee model, because we would prefer everybody to do it if they can. Right. But what we're going to be doing is, in addition to pink and whites, we're going to have a gel manicure one hand. So it's going to be much shorter of a competition, which will allow the judges to get judging them. But there's a lot of people that they aren't comfortable doing pink and whites anymore. It's just not something people do in the salon. So we wanted them to be excited again. So we are doing a gel manicure one hand. So it's going to be a short competition, but it'll hopefully get everybody trying, seeing how they do. So that's going to be fun.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
And I relate to you. So I'm one of them that quit competing because of the anxiety of it. And I felt like I was giving my best work at the time. And, I got great feedback, and it taught me in the salon, but all the anxiety that led up to it was not for me. And so I'm a good cheerleader.
Well, there's no fee for it. It doesn't cost anything. There's no additional fee to go compete at nail camp, which I think is a huge bonus, but we do put aside a little bit of cash for cash prizes. So it's worth it just to try. And they're short competitions. By lunchtime, everyone's done and judged. So it's really fun. The last year before the cruise, we had so many people turn in such amazing art. I still am blown away. And if you want to see them, you can go to the gallery section of nailcamp.org, and you can see all of these unbelievably beautiful art pieces. And so that's based on the mixed media, which this year the theme is Pick Your Past. So because of the Back to the Future theme, that's kind of following through. Yeah. So I'm excited to see what people come up with that. But yeah, so competitions are in the morning on Saturday, and then they're done. And, people don't have to think about it anymore. And then we have lunch, and then we start with our classes. So that afternoon, everybody will go to 3 of the 1-hour classes. So you go to a class, then you have about half an hour to shop and go to your next class, and half an hour to shop and go to your next class, and then some time to shop, and then you go to dinner. So it goes pretty quick, and then there's Keynote that night. Some locations we typically can have a campfire. So this will be the night typically that I will try to get a campfire going, depending on weather. The weather should be a lot better in Georgia and in Boise than it has been in Seattle, because we were always fighting the rain a little bit, which can make entertaining situations for trying to light a fire. But we've had some great laughs at the campfires. So we definitely try to add that in.
Beth had actually put on there nails, bonfires, Reese's, s'mores, and more nails.
Exactly. Yeah. We've have I'm trying to think I always mess up her name, starts with an A. One of the girls is going to help me out here. And she had her very first s'more. She's from the Caribbean. And she came all the way out, and she's coming to Nail Camp East. And she had her very first s'more last year. And I got a picture of it. And it was awesome. She's so funny. Enki, I just remembered. Enki. And she's very excited for Atlanta. So we have to give her some s'mores with the Reese's, because I don't think she's had that yet. So
I have a similar story. In August, Layla Monroy came over from the UK, and we were over at one of our other admin on our group here over at Kim's house, and Layla had never had s'mores. Well, before that, we took her to a grocery store. And it was, she'd never seen ice cream that big. She'd never seen fruits and vegetables that big. It was like Twinkies, Fruity Pebbles, like all these things. She was just blown away with it, and the candy. And then anyways, we were talking about s'mores, and she had her first s'mores. She sent me a picture the other day. She had baked up some s'mores for her and her husband. And she videotaped his response of trying it the first time. And he was like, all right. Like, I forget exactly.
Not so bad. Have you ever made brownie s'mores?
Oh my gosh, that would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd say if I need to, I'll bring some supplies for s'mores. Somebody on here actually asked a question of how is it traffic wise, or how do they get to the campsite or the resort, I should say, from the airport? Is there something set up with shuttles or anything?
There's not. So there's a couple of different ways that you can get from an airport. So if you're not driving in, and a lot of techs are driving in, but we do have, probably 25% that typically will fly in, post on one of the group pages. So either on Nail Camp USA, which is a Facebook group, or if you're also on the Northwest Nailtechs Facebook group, on there as well. And you can also message me, because I do get messages from people that are looking for rides. And I've already helped link a few people up, a couple people that were flying in from Michigan. They're now driving together to get to the airport in Michigan, and then coming in, renting one car and driving up to camp. So I can help kind of usher that together a little bit. I used to do it for everybody, and it was like a full-time job, so I don't do that anymore.
Oh my gosh.
But my recommendation is to put in the group that, you're flying in and you get in on the night before. Most people will fly in on Thursday and stay at an area hotel. And so I'll have some hotel suggestions. I haven't called around quite yet, because typically you've got to give it, there's a certain month where they like to schedule these things as a group block. But I'll block out some rooms at an inexpensive hotel, and then you can find people that you can room with that Thursday night if you're flying in on Thursday. And then either a group of you can rent one car and drive it up, or you can try to find other locals or people driving in that can pick you up on the way and bring you in. So
I love that. That's a good idea. Yeah. So how long of a drive from the airport to
it's 90 minutes for both events. So 90 minutes north from Atlanta to the Kaplan Center, which is the one in Georgia. And it's 90 minutes north from Boise to the Trinity, which is the one in Idaho. So they're both about an hour and a half.
Yeah. So we can hitchhike. No, I'm just kidding. Do not hitchhike.
Probably not good, because I don't know where you're going to end up, PJ. You never know. But yeah, they're not too far. None of these places are ever close to cities. So anytime you find a location, they're never going to be close to cities, or they would be a fortune. So
yeah. And that's one of the advantages too, is just getting away more like a vacation rather than big town.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Lisa, hello, Lisa. I just got to see you a couple weeks ago. She wants to know when Camp West registration is open.
It is open now. Yes, everybody's registration is open now. I just activated it last night, and there's exciting news is that I have an early bird special, because we are so far away from the October event. I'm able to do an early bird special right now because it helps get the deposit in for the event center. So if you have friends or family that are like, I don't know what to get you, and you are like, I don't know what I want either, go, I do know what I want. There is a whole gift certificate section of the website where they can donate $50 towards your camp fee, $100, $200, or a full ride, which right now up until the early bird special is done, which will probably be the end of this month through the holidays, that is on sale as well. So you can register and get yourself going. And I will be giving out a swag bag drawing to the early bird registrations, one of them. So there'll be a drawing for that as well. But I have to put that together, so I don't know exactly what that's worth. It's not going to be as big as the one that's going out for East. That one's huge.
So Lisa, it looks like you're going to have to come up to both. Yeah. Oh, wonderful. Heather says, hello, good evening to you all and everybody here. So hello, Heather. Let's see.
9.5 hour. Beth says it's a 9.5 hour drive for for West, but you guys got to ask the people who drive like 15, 16 hours. They make a day of it the day before. So they'll leave early in the morning on Thursday and they will drive all day so that they don't have to fly, because then they can put all their bedding in there. They can put 2 other friends in there. They road trip its camp. Or there's those that do fly in. So it really just depends on which way you want to go. But it's still going to be cheaper than trying to go to a trade show and pay for your own hotel for 4 nights.
Yeah. One of the things so Becky Bunnell is also going to be, one of the educators, and Becky and I have become really good friends. I very much adore her. And so we were thinking about maybe having me drive over to where she lives. She lives just short of Las Vegas, and then flying from Vegas and over. So maybe you guys can even team up with each other and do some of the travels that way, whether you're driving and stop and pick somebody up or fly in. But yeah, so that's how we're going to keep
it fun. Girls' weekend.
Yeah. Beth says it was a big one for her because she doesn't even travel. And so for Beth being able to go, it must be the reward of being around like-minded people and learning all of that makes you get there and go, okay, this was worth it. And so Beth, I'm glad that you decided to travel and try that.
Yeah, she's great. It was really fun meeting her. I enjoy getting to know Beth. She was awesome.
So Heather's like, life is a highway. I want to ride it all night long. If I was going to Sweden next year, I'd do a few nailcations. Oh, that's hilarious. I love it. So Jessica, I mean, your plate is overly full. You have some things in your personal life that you're, excited and getting ready to try. What's next for you? Like, to me, you're at this top, you're riding this roller coaster at high speed and just making it happen. But, in the end, where's your goal with this? What do you want to do?
I really I love doing events like Nail Camp. I love the way Nail Camp works. Like I said, I love, camp when I was young. I thought, it'd be fun to be a camp counselor. And never would I've thought, I'll just, run a nail camp instead. But it's fun. The organization takes months, and getting the books ready the weeks before I get those printed takes night and day, so much time. But I love it. I love organizing the event. I love how excited people are when they're there. I wouldn't mind doing more of them. I really, but it's definitely a learning process, and it's a big risk when you start a new location. So once we get these 2 locations solid and they've been going for a while, I know that there's some in Canada that are like, you should come to Canada. But I know that there's some great events up there already. So it's kind of one of those things where you've got to gauge, where is the need and where is the desire for people to want to have you there and want to go and attend the classes. And that's what's important. If people say, I want to go, make one over here on the East Coast, but people don't show up, then we're not going to do it on the East Coast anymore. So it's important that people show up when they want you to be there, because otherwise it doesn't continue. Yeah. So, but I don't know. I mean, I've had some people in Europe say, you should come here and do classes. And I'm just, let me know how, and I will go. But I don't know. I don't know that I'm going to grow Nail Camp much more at this point. I want to see these 2 events be successful. On my plate, I am having to leave my salon, so I'm having to build a whole new one and move house and all of that. So the plate is full, and I'm trying not to think too much about what's next after that, or my husband might not want to know.
So do you have a blueprint layout of what you want to do for your studio?
I do. And, there's actually, it's 2 phases for it. Because the first, this is going to get crazy. You're going to think I'm nuts. Okay, so the first building, was supposed to be like a metal building that was just going to be, get in there, be in there for a little while and build the big building. Because we ended up getting a mountain for crazy cheap. It's literally like a little mountain. And so the idea was, okay, well, the second building I can build, and my husband wants to build a castle. I kid you not. So he's like, let's build a castle. And I'm like, okay. So in my idea is, okay, well, what can I put in there for nails? So I'm like, all right, the bottom floor so if you think of it as 2 halves, you really want to know this? Okay, it's 2 halves. Yeah. This is like the house side, and this is the nail side. So the bottom floor is classroom, one big classroom that will see a bunch of people, and it'll walk out onto the grass. The second floor would be like salon shop area. And then the third floor would be a dorm, because when people come from out of town, they all have to stay somewhere. And this is not exactly next to every Holiday Inn that you need to go to. So it would be great for it to have a dorm and be able to sleep like 18 people.
Jessica, that's so cool that your husband as well is as a part of your passion of, like to build this, and that's exciting.
Yeah. So I mean, it's the big dream, and it would be able to be used, as well as an event center for weddings, which would be able to eventually be our retirement. So it has kind of a dual purpose as far as what all it can be used for. But is it ever actually going to be built? I don't know. We're going to start with building number 1, which is just shop and apartment basically. And it'll be nice though. It's just he's going to be building it with his own 2 hands. So it's going to be a lot of work.
That's awesome. I love the idea of a castle on the mountainside,
Yeah, it's really cool. It looks really neat. Like I've done all the floor plan and stuff for it, but it's going to have to wait.
It sounds like it's going to be the home of some very many future nail retreats.
Well, small. It would only sleep like 18. I know a lot of people have said that. Let's go do a nail camp there. And I'm like, it is not sleeping 130. That's not this big. So it's like 18 people. But it's great for a class. And at the location I'm at now, I host other nail tech educators for classes as well. And there's a lot of hotels nearby. So it's really convenient. But I'm getting kicked out of this location in April. So I won't have a classroom until the next building is built. So I just have to.
So you need a whole bunch of nail techs to come together with our husbands that have skills and just come over and help build this for you.
This next summer.
I'll be sure to tell my husband tonight when he gets home. Oh, by the way, we're going to go help build the castle for Jessica.
Totally.
Heather's on here and she says, Jess rocks. I've learned so much from her on her YouTube and her Facebook live videos.
That's so nice.
Yeah. Carrie calls you Super Jess.
I know. Carrie is awesome. She's super Carrie. Super Carrie.
Let's see. So Beth says, wow, that's amazing that you would do that for techs. And then, you're full of love. And you can see that you're so passionate and excited about it. And, I've talked with this before that sometimes our past, we don't realize how much it plays a role in our future. And so like, for instance, with your marketing degree and all of that, maybe without that, you wouldn't, be as structured as what you are right now. And I just love how it can all pull together. Even some nail techs, like I have a medical background as well. And I used to be an EMT, and just who knew that would tie into the nail industry? But it relates all the way through. And so I just love it. And obviously people love you for all of that.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I just want to meet people.
Yeah. And so obviously your plate is full, your year is full. Do you like to still go to other shows, or do you pretty much have to work off for your own and then, don't really get to travel around to them as well?
No, I do. The last couple of years, I've gone to just about every show. I was in the competition circuit, so I've been Nail Pro Top 10 the last couple of years as well. So that's been really fun, doing a lot of learning. And your nails do get better, and it's, people say that, competing really helps change your nails, and it does, and in the salon, I'm not doing long pink and whites in the salon, but it does change how you see things and how you do things. And I still love taking competition classes. Because you do learn different ways of looking at a nail. Even in this last class with Madeline Wolf, she showed me a different thing, and I'm like, never looked at a nail like that. You just learn new things. So I do. I've been going to just about every show every year for quite a few years. I used to work at the Akzentz booth quite a lot, and then I started doing the competitions. So I've been doing less booth work. But this coming year, I don't think I'll be at very many shows because of the build. I'll be missing Long Beach because we'll be probably out of the country. So I'll be missing that. And then July is, May. I will be at the one show, which is in Oregon. That's the weekend after nail camp. So I know that some people are worried that they've contacted me and said, are you going to be in Oregon? Because you've got nail camp the weekend before in Atlanta. And I said, I know. Yeah. So I know. So my husband is driving our trailer full of all of the product to Atlanta for Nail Camp East. And then I'm jumping in the car with him. I have to fly there because I have clients to do. but I will fly there and meet him there. And then we will drive back all the way across country to Oregon for the one show, which is the following weekend. So we'll be doing that show and we'll have everything there. And I've got a class that I'll be teaching on Monday at that show. But then I think Orlando's probably 2 weeks later. And so I'm not going to do Orlando and I'm not going to do Vegas this year. So it's a little bit lighter this year for sure. Yeah. But it'll be for good reason, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's so exciting. And you know, my husband as well, my schedule when I was putting it together for the beginning of this and the first 2 months, I'm actually just going to be close to home and just doing some in-salon ones. And then I'm going to Light Elegance headquarters at the end of January. I just found out today. And so when I added more into my plate and I gave him a list of it, he's like, so do I mark off to go with you to these, or is this just a you thing? And I'm like, oh, I'd love for him to go. But it's having that support group at home as well is so important, because you do travel a lot, or if you're doing social media, you're online a lot, and so being able to have the support group from the people in your family at home is huge, and that just proves your success even further. And so congratulations again on everything that you're doing. If you guys have not gotten this month's Nail Pro magazine, yep, head of the class, that's our Jessica. So proud of you. And obviously, so are these companies. And so we will get the links to all of your, oh my gosh, your websites, your YouTubes, and all of that into the comments. And go check out the website. I can tell you, when the first time I went to the Nail Camp website, because you know the idea of camping. Now I live at the base of the Bighorn Mountains, and I like the idea of camping, but I'm not really a camp girl. And I got on there and I realized, oh no, this is a resort. You have a chef. The idea of camping is pretty much just the scenery and that they might have a bonfire. So do not let that, look at the pictures on the website and it will help prove to you what it's really going to be like and how close everybody can be.
It's fun. Well, and if you're driving in, you bring your own bedding. So you can rent bedding if you don't have any, but otherwise you bring your own bedding. And so people will bring like their foam mattress toppers and roll those up, and their comforters. And so everyone's super comfortable because they're in their own bed. So it works out really well. But it's really fun. My husband actually is going camping with Nikki's husband, who's going to come with her from Michigan down to Atlanta. So after he unloads the trailer, him and my husband are going to go off and they're going to go real camping because we don't need them after they drop stuff off. They can go. So yeah, they're going to go off and do the real camping while we get.
Is that an option that can happen if other techs husbands want to come? Is that an option?
If they like to go camping and they want to find out about what they're doing, send me a message and I'll let them know. And they're gonna, because my husband, because we're driving everything out, he's got room in the trailer to throw in, some camping equipment, and I have plenty of that. So he's gonna throw all of that in, and the guys are gonna go camping.
We don't always get in trouble that our husbands sometimes might not always see it that it's a work-related travel. They always say that, it just looks like from these pictures you just had fun. And so anyway, sometimes when they come, they do realize that there's a lot of work involved. It's not fun, but it is.
Like our work.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jessica, I can't thank you enough for sharing everything that you've been working on. This is years in the making. And like you said, it took a while to kind of fine tune what an itinerary would be, how you would do your classes. And obviously you had Vicki as a great mentor and, very much missed in our industry. And so being able to ride through that legacy and keep it going, it's fabulous. So thank you for what you're doing. And thank you for inviting me to come on aboard and be a keynote speaker. I'm excited. I can talk, so I think I'll be okay.
Are we going to have to cut you off and I have to do the 5-minute thing?
The timer,
5 minutes. People want to shop. So.
And so before we decide to end this, I know a lot of people will go to the website and stuff, but do you want to name drop a little bit of some of the educators that have come in the past and kind of what people might be learning more than just demos, like actual hands-on kind of, education? And so do you want to talk a little bit more about who's coming?
Yeah, of course. So in Atlanta and in on the West, we have Allie Baker and Amy Becker are both still coming. Tiffany Cordoza from Elegant Glass is coming. And myself, we're definitely both doing both. We have a lot of new educators that are coming out to Atlanta, so I'm super excited, like yourself. and Becky, and oh, Angela Bladesell is coming and doing Swarovski. The Profiles girls are coming, which I'm really excited for. They've been wanting to come do nail camp for a while, so I think they're gonna have a really good time. So the Profiles girls are coming. Oh goodness.
I know, put you on the spot, huh?
I know. There's so many of them, and I don't want to mix up where they're going. Anna was a Slenska. I can't say her name properly, but she's going to be in Idaho at Nail Camp West, so that's really exciting. She's not come before, as well as Dee Dee Desmond, who everyone loves. She's also going to be at Nail Camp West in Idaho, and we have it's such a great assortment. Lauren Wireman's going to be joining us, of course, in Atlanta as well. So she is great. She really enjoys all of the hands-on stuff. In previous years, we've had just different companies, and they come and they, try different stuff and send different educators. And we have KT coming, I believe, for Orly, but even if she doesn't teach for Orly, we call her the camp clown. So she's going to help run the raffle games. So she's going to be the raffle game mistress. So if you have a certain game that you want to try out, you got to let KT know. So she's going to be helping me with the games this year. So that's going to be really fun. But yeah, it's just a great assortment. But there is, on the website, you can see every single educator who has confirmed. Oh, Tracy Benson. Oh, can't forget her. She's coming. Yeah. What am I thinking? So yeah, I'm really excited. I've talked to her in the past in Tennessee, because I've gone and done the Tennessee show quite a few times. And I've gotten to see Tracy there. So she said she would be coming. And so I'm super excited to have her there. She's got some great classes. She can do her new jailbreak class. And so there's some fun things that she's going to be bringing as well. A lot of the class information isn't up yet. It's one of those things that I have to keep hammering away, trying to get educators to send them all. You were so well behaved. You sent yours immediately. I'm so impressed. I don't think it's from everybody.
I'm not always that way, but you know what's is I have, for many people, I always have a pink binder. And at the top of them, so like I just wrote a blog on my website. It talks about how to set your goals and go through and do a priority. So on the top of each page, it has, the topic of what my goal is. And below that is all the, like, almost an itinerary of what needs to go on in like an outline form that you learned in high school, and that you swear you're never, ever going to use in life. Well, I do. and that had been in there for quite some time. And it was like, okay, what do I want to do? You're giving us the options to teach what we want to teach and how we want to teach it and set that up. So you're actually giving a lot of the educators the freedom to kind of shine and be their best. And you're giving them good quality time to do that. And so it was easy to be able to get back with you on that. And the way you have it structured behind the scenes, Jessica, is so nice. Like, I've worked with a lot of different shows and, different things, and we're always kind of in the not knowing of what's going on until we get there. You've made it very clear and you're approachable. We can message you, and you're very organized. And I'm telling you.
I try, but I got to make my educators happy. Holly's come a couple of times, and she's coming again to East. I don't know for sure yet if she's coming to West, but I love having her there as well. But yeah, it's always really fun to see all the educators that are there and see what they like to teach, because they have things that they're passionate about. And it's one of the things that does make camp different, because most of the educators that come, they're not being sent by a company. They're there as a volunteer. And if they make something teaching the classes or being able to make some money off of sales, which a lot of times the products are on sale, so the products are being sold on sale. So there's not a lot of money they're necessarily making off product sales, but they're there because they love it and they're passionate like you are, and they want to share their knowledge. And so they're not being sent necessarily by a company. They're volunteering to be there. And so you really can get to know them as a person instead of just an educator that's got a cookie cutter situation. So it makes it really interesting, really fun.
That's actually why I'm more excited about this retreat. Is I like the idea of spending more than just demos with the techs that come to see you. I like to sit and eat with them and enjoy and hear more about their story.
Well, I will lecture all the educators, don't sit in the same table. I try to tell the educators to float, because all the people that meet people, the nail techs, they're all going to sit in the same table every time. They're just going to do it. But if you can go and steal a seat at different tables, then they can get to know you. And I find that's really helpful when they have a good experience. They get to know, oh, I got to sit and talk with Holly, and I didn't think I'd actually get to do that because they're too shy. Well, she's got to eat like you do, so it just makes it a lot more personable, and it really allows people to get to know other people and as people, not just an educator, or Amy Becker is this amazing top competitor, and Allie Baker is this amazing global top competitor, and it makes people nervous when they've read about these great people in the industry. You're just like a little starstruck, and oh my gosh, how am I going to talk to Allie? And they're cool. And Allie will make, whoever the Seahawks are playing that week, she will wear the shirt for the other team because she loves me that much.
Oh, I love it. That's awesome.
So yeah, which there's a big Monday Night Football game on tonight. So go Hawks. So.
We did talk that we were going to be done with our tech talk so that you could go watch the game. I have to get back to work. I actually have another client coming in. So
let's get talking.
Well, Jessica, again, thank you so much for everything that you're spearheading, paving the way for many people, for us in the future, and giving us a platform where we can afford to go get the education and its quality. And I just can't thank you enough for your time that you gave us today explaining all this as well. I think we've gotten all the questions answered. If you guys have more questions and you're watching this on replay, ask away, because it will tag me and Jessica. And so we'll just make sure that it gets answered for you. So yay. So thank you again, Jessica. Congratulations on your 2018 Educator of the Year. And I look forward to meeting you in May.
Yes, I do too. I'm so excited. Thank you so much.
All right. So everybody, on Thursday, Ashley Gregory with the Nailscape is going to be my tech talk. We have that going. And then if you guys have ever missed a tech talk, you do know, like today, I think this is tech talk number 71. I created a YouTube channel. You can go on YouTube and you can find from Greg Salo to Max Estrada's to today's tech talk with Jessica will be on there. And, if you have any questions along the way, it's just a great resource to get the knowledge directly from the people and the educators, the companies. And so I just can't thank them enough for where tech talks come. So anyways, find my YouTube channel and go watch some of the old tech talks. So they're pretty fun. So again, Jessica, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thanks, everyone.
And see, Merry Christmas to everybody. It's coming up. It's 2 weeks away from tomorrow. 2 weeks. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Maybe it will close out.